All right, let's get into this, shall we? Now, this is not going to be a normal episode of Feeling Blue because this was not a normal game and this was not a normal circumstance. I'm not going to be going through my points. I think I'll save my judgment on players and things for 3 added minutes, which I'm going to be doing after this game. And instead, I'm going to be focusing on what can only be described as absolute corruption, what can only be described as complete and utter incompetence, and what can only be described as just utter mania. Utter fucking mania. I genuinely have no idea how this keeps happening to us. It's 5 games in a row. I count. 5 games in a row where we have dropped points, and every single one of them, there's been some kind of VAR or referee mistake that has cost us the game. It's just, I don't know what more to say. It's getting ridiculous now. It's genuinely, we cannot. It's one of those situations where it gets piled onto us, where we're not playing well, and I admit that we did not play the greatest today. But we're not playing well. But when you aren't playing well, it's even like more egregious when you just get piled on by these horrific refereeing decisions happening every single game, and just blatant displays of either incompetence, bias, or downright just, as I said, corruption in every single one of our games. It's genuinely astounding. I do not know how to talk about it because it's genuinely astounding. What I will do is I'm going to do the bingo card first. So let's flip over to this screen. Let's do the bingo card. This can give us a little bit of happiness, I guess. Right. Let's start from left to right, and we'll go through, and then I'll kind of talk about this game and just some of the things that happened that I'm so mad about. It's genuinely made me like, I'm sitting here doing this, like stress squeezing my hand to not blow a gasket. Defensive howler. Yeah. I guess we could say this. I think. I guess there's the decision here. Sanchez the GOAT. Now, this is really annoying because I do think that Sanchez actually had a pretty decent game, except for that one pass out. He was claiming pretty much every high ball and getting us on the way, and we probably would have had more success from that if a certain decision went our way, but there we are. So I'm not going to tick off this because I don't think he was the greatest player in the game, but he did play quite well. Why are you there? Did we have this? I don't think we had this. Who scored for them? Zoomed. Okay. I genuinely I've tuned out so badly. I can't even remember who scored. Kluivert scored their pen. Semenyo scored the other one. So that doesn't that's in there. Josh's player of the match, no. Palmer G/A, we got that. That's good. Last week's scapegoat, we didn't get this. Caicedo booked for a clean tackle. I don't think he got booked. Actually, not for the Caicedo situation is really annoying to me. I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get into the bad box. Neutral stream. I will tick this off. I think this was a very entertaining game of football. Defense scores. Yep. Reece James obviously scoring. Player booked for dissent. I didn't see that. Fight breaks out. We saw this in the box. Maresca ball in full flow. We did see this on a few occasions. VAR costs us. I'm going to tick this out 5 times. Because I think that's the main one. Enzo assist. Did we get an Enzo assist? Jackson. No, it can't be because it was a free kick and Jackson got the first one. Joao played, so we get this off. Someone scores a worldie. I'll call James's goal a worldie, honestly. And to be honest, Palmer's can be classed as one as well. Winger to winger. Yep, this happened. Noah Nkunku, we got this as well. He didn't play. If only we got an Enzo assist, we would have got a bingo. Mono in Australia, we got this in the pre-match stream, so we can take this off. Gusto didn't play. Grass is always greener. No, We didn't really get that today. Transfer target triumph. I mean, Kerkez did play quite well, but he wasn't really one of the players that I was kind of highlighting with this. So maybe not. I didn't hear any Bob Marley chants, so there we go. What's our free space? Let's say free space for the Royal Rumble's coming up, and apparently clotheslines are now legal in football, so we'll tick that off too. Oh, we were actually one off of a bingo on this side too. Excellent. Now that's done, let's talk about the game. Before I go a bit insane. Right, let me hang on. I need to move myself out of the way. Okay. So, I think it's worth mentioning just a few players I think played well, and I can put into the good box here. The first is pretty obvious. It's Reece James, if I can find him. Where have I put him? Where have I put James? He's not on the screen. I don't know where he's gone. Oh, there he is. I think the first is Reece James. Obviously, he scores the equaliser. In general, I think when he came on, he played quite well. He was playing in that more 10 or 8 role in this game, maybe due to necessity of us trying to get back into the game. I feel like that suits him a little bit better than playing as the third centre back. So good to see him playing there. Good from him. Let's talk about Palmer. Palmer obviously scores a fantastic goal, and I think for the most part in the first half he was our best player, or one of our best players. Tapered off a little bit in the second half, but so did everyone. So not going to talk about that too much. A player who I'm going to be putting in good here is someone that I know that everyone's going to hate me for doing this. I'm putting Jackson in here. Great assist for the first goal. We do not get our first goal without him. And I think in general, in the first half, his hold-up play, and for the most part in the game, his hold-up play was absolutely phenomenal. People are going to talk about him missing goals. Every striker misses chances. In fact, I think the one which most people are going to get hampered for is the one from the Madueke cross. But I'm sitting there watching that chance, and I'm sitting there like, why has Madueke put it up in the air? If he just rolls that across the floor, I think Jackson scores, genuinely. I don't know why he's put it in the air. So there's that. I'm going to put a Chempong in the medium box because I think that he was decent overall, but I felt like at times he looked a little bit out of his depth in this game. Obviously, he's at fault, or he's one of the players that is at fault for Semenyo's goal by not closing him down quick enough. But there was a few moments where he was kind of getting pressed and he looked a bit panicky on the ball, getting caught on the ball a little bit. But again, I'm not going to be ragging on him too much because he obviously he's 18. He's playing like his second ever Premier League game. Not going to rag on him too much. In fact, I'll actually put him so high up the medium box that he's basically good. Let's put in Romeo Lavia. I think genuinely when this guy came off, we lost the game. Absolutely superb in the engine room, and he is genuinely the most press-resistant midfielder I think I've ever watched in my life. I said this on Twitter, but like it just seems like you can ping the ball into him at any point in the game, and he will keep the ball. Genuinely. Let me put that there. Now, see, I've seen someone talk about Maresca. I am not going to be putting Enzo Maresca in the bad box. I do not put this. I wanted to say a loss. It's not a loss. It's a draw. I'm not going to put any blame on Maresca because our players should be doing better today. Genuinely, our players should be doing better. Have I flipped again? We're in Australia again. Have to tick that off twice. There we go. One of these days I'll figure out why it does that. It's got to be something to do with the software I use. I have no clue. But yeah, I'm not going to be blaming Maresca because the players should have put this game to bed in the first half and they didn't. And I said that's partly down to Jackson, it's partly down to other players as well, missing chances, so I'm not going to single out anyone for that. Our team just wasn't clinical enough in the first half. We should have been at least 3 or 4 goals up in the first half and we weren't. I would suggest that maybe he could have made substitutions a little bit earlier, but it's clear to me that Maresca does not trust his bench and we do not have the depth that he wants, and I think that that's something that needs to be addressed in January, and hopefully it does get addressed in January. Lava got caught on the ball, but yeah, I mean, he got caught on the ball, but it was clear that he was at the end of his, like, what's the word? He was at the end of It's at the end of his stint that he should have been playing. I don't think he had the legs in him to continue, and I think that's kind of why that happened. In the first half, he was phenomenal. Have I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So one more player I need to talk about. Who am I going to talk about here? Who should I talk about? Who? You know what? Player who I'm going to be putting in good, because I think his performance will go really, really under the radar today. Enzo Fernandez. I think he was phenomenal today. Genuinely, it's hard to kind of like, it's hard to kind of what's the word, like, judge Enzo Fernandez performances if he doesn't get goals and assists, because his role in the team is so unique in the fact that he's kind of tasked at being an 8, but also tasked at being a 10, but also tasked at being a 6 at times. Really, really, really hard to kind of judge him. But I think that every time I saw him getting on the ball, and he was getting fouled like crazy by at least 3 players every single time he got the ball, every single time, I think it's like, every time he got the ball, he was the one that was spreading it. He was the one that was trying to make things go forward, especially in the second half when we were trying to push for a goal. He was always the one on the half turn trying to get us up the pitch. Him and Palmer also dropping to do that, so I think he played really well. Now let's talk about the rest of the game, because I genuinely, all of this that I've just talked about, all of the good performances from players, the medium performances from players, even the players missing sitters, is completely fucking irrelevant. Genuinely fucking irrelevant. Because the next thing we're going to talk about is these fucking referees. And I've got to the point where I've got all of these. I've got all of these stupid things to put in here, all for them, because it's just ridiculous. I said at the top of this, I do not understand how this can continue to be getting given like this in every single one of our games. It's genuinely shocking. We are the most watched, the most richest, the biggest fucking league in the world, and we have the worst referees on the planet. Worst referees on the planet. You know, one of these, it was really nice when we were watching the Euros and watching the World Cup recently and watching Champions League football, because they get it right. Almost every time they get it right. Somehow, these incompetent fools that I don't know where they pick them up. They must get them off the back streets of London somewhere. Just find them randomly in an alley in Liverpool, or just pick them up from Plymouth or whatever. They're genuinely, I sit here and I'm like, how are these unqualified absolute fucking losers allowed to scam a living making these poor decisions every single week? There is not a single game that goes past where there is not a single game week that goes past in the Premier League where there is not a massive VAR problem, a massive referee call gone wrong, or multiple of those in the same game. Now, come close. Uncle Mono's going to tell you a story. There once was a man, and his name was Jose Mourinho, and he once went live on national television and said straight into the camera that there is an agenda against Chelsea. And every single day that we play football, he gets proven right. Because how you can call this anything other than absolute bias, absolute corruption, and absolute utter incompetence is beyond me. Let's go through some of these decisions. David Brooks, I know you've had a very tough time with your illness and things like that. It does not excuse you from being able to just absolutely clothesline players, rip people's hair out of their skulls, and get away with it. The thing which bugs me the most about this decision, because at the time, and I said this on Twitter, at the time, I thought it was actually quite a fair decision to give him a yellow. I thought, yeah, he's stopping a promising attack, that's a yellow card. Until I saw it a few more times, and I was like, oh, that's a bit egregious. That's maybe a little bit more violent conduct. I don't mind if the referee kind of says, hey, this isn't a red card. I'm fine with that. What I'm really not happy with is the referees completely disregarding protocol and just completely breaking the rules. VAR is not allowed to award yellow cards. They're not allowed to. It's not in the rules. You either give the red card or give nothing. And they don't do either. They can't follow their own rules. They write the rules themselves. They put themselves on this pedestal as if they're this great governing body that has all of these rules written down and they know all the things that goes on. And they can't even follow them themselves. It's a joke. It's an absolute fucking joke. Genuinely a fucking joke that they can't even do their own protocols right. And I really wish, I really, really hope that we get one of those, you know, they do the audio things where it's like, oh, it shows the audio of what the referee said when this decision was made to show what goes on. Because I genuinely cannot fucking fathom what the fuck these absolute morons are saying in Stockley Park. I genuinely cannot understand what they're saying to the referees. I want to say credit to VAR, right? Because they have called out, this is a bad challenge. They've called out and they've said to the referee, hey, you might want to take a look at this. I cannot excuse the referee then deciding, you know what? Yeah, sure, that's not violent. And the reasoning they give is even more egregious. That they come out on fucking social media and they want to say it was reckless, not violent. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. What is the difference between reckless and violent? And reckless is usually given as a word to describe red card challenges and things like that. They say, oh, the player was out of control. He was reckless. That's the grounds for a red card. So what's the difference with this? You know, it bugs me because this is the third situation we've had with Cucurella getting his hair pulled. Two of them have not resulted in a red card. One of them has. Exactly. And yeah, that's egregious too. If you don't give a red, it's your gift. It's a joke. You have to laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. I genuinely feel like that. That's the major decision that goes off. I want to point out Semenyo. I think probably should have seen red too. He was fouling Caicedo multiple times throughout the game when he was playing at right back. And to be honest, I don't think Caicedo gives away the first penalty if he's not frustrated with the referee constantly giving the fouls the wrong way, because it comes straight off of the back of Semenyo fouling Caicedo, and then we give the ball away, and then he has to make a challenge, and he's clearly not in the right headspace after being on the receiving end of so many challenges. As I said earlier, Enzo was getting hacked to the ground every time he was getting on the ball. Palmer was getting his ankles kicked as ever. There's Ryan Christie doing two attack breaking challenges on a yellow card, not getting a second yellow. There's Jackson running through on goal in the penalty box and being dragged to the floor by either Zabarnyi or Huijsen. I don't know which fucking one it was. I don't really give a shit. One of them dragging him to the box. It's not a penalty. He pulls it back for the earlier foul on Joao Felix. And admittedly, yeah, we score from that free kick, but still, it's a precedent that you need to set. The penalty, I'm not going to be saying that the penalty wasn't a penalty. I think Caicedo does make a rash challenge. I'm not going to be going against that. I think that's a good decision. I don't think he should be put in that position because I think Semenyo should have been off. I think Christie should have been off. I think Brooks 100% should have been off. And the thing which bugs me the most is that I said this before. I think when I was talking about the Ipswich game. I was talking about the Ipswich game, and I was saying how the thing that annoys me most about these decisions is that they always come at the worst possible time for Chelsea. Just the worst possible time. Like, we always concede immediately after them. Maybe that's a mentality thing from our point of view. Maybe it's our young, inexperienced squad not knowing how to handle adversity. But I think it's genuinely egregious that we get fucked over in like the worst part, literally the worst timing for us to basically be able to win the game. We are so on top of Bournemouth in this game in the first half, and then we start the second half, we get that stupid decision to not send Brooks off, and then the game just goes and explodes, and we just completely capitulate. Yeah, Reece James tackled on the break, no foul, and it's just we had Kerkez at the end of the game wasting about 5 or 6 minutes just holding the ball on the touchline for throw-ins. No yellow given to him for that. It's just, I don't understand it. I genuinely do not understand it. How it bugs me, because I say this every time I have to talk about these cunts, and it's every week, by the way, I have to talk about these cunts. I say I don't want to talk about these bastards. I don't want to know the names of the referees. I don't want to talk about VAR decisions every single week. I want to talk about the fact that our team was not good enough, and I wanted to talk about the fact that our team didn't take the chances today in the first half, and that's why we lost. But ultimately, that's not why we lost. The reason we lost is because the referees can't get any decision right. They can't get any single decision right. And the thing which bugs me the most is that usually we can blame VAR for these things, right? We can blame the technology for not being good enough. But no, today this was just genuinely the referee being completely out of his depth, being a complete utter arsehole and not knowing what the fuck he was doing. And the thing which bugs me the most about it is that I know that that smug cunt is going to go home, he's going to sit in his bed, and he's going to have a fucking 50k plus paycheck in his fucking bank account the next month. Anyone else makes these types of egregious mistakes in their job, they get fired. they get sacked, they lose their job, they lose their livelihood. These bastards do it every single week, and they go home and they kiss their wife or their husband or whoever, and they just roll in the money and they don't give a shit. And that's what really bugs me, because we get our our weekends ruined. You know what? It happens every single week, because today it's Tuesday the 14th of January. 4 days time, it's my birthday. Fucking ruined now, because I'm going to be thinking about this shit fucking game the entire day. And then we've got to play Wolves on the 20th, and it's probably going to be even fucking worse. It's just, I just don't know what more to say. It's joke. It's genuinely a joke. Everything that happens to Chelsea is a fucking joke. I really want to hear the audio for this, because it's just going to be a calamity. It's going to be an absolute calamity, and social media is going to eat it up and be like, oh, this is so funny. And it's just like, why? Because this is the 5th game in a row, 4 or 5. I'd say one of them's a bit more contentious, I think. I can't remember which game, but 4 out of the last 5 games, we've been fucked over by the referees, and we've lost points because of the referees. We are very lucky today that a lot of the other clubs around us also dropped points. Liverpool dropped points, Notts Forest dropped points, City dropped points, but obviously we also dropped points. Now, we unfortunately have to contend with basically Newcastle and Arsenal's next fixtures. Basically decides whether we're still in top 4 at the end of this weekend. And that's basically, if Newcastle win, they go above us, I'm pretty sure. Same thing with Arsenal, obviously extend their lead ahead of us if they win. And it's just depressing. It's just depressing. Like I said, I don't like getting angry. I'm a person that really doesn't like getting angry. I'm a person that really wants to stay objective. I'm a person that wants to stay analytical, and that kind of goes with my style. But I can't ignore when this happens to my club, and it really bugs me, because it's like, this is the one thing every single weekend or every single week, midweek, whenever the game's on, that I genuinely get up and actually am excited to do every single week, is to watch my club play. And it's just miserable every single time, and it's completely out of my players' hands. I just feel so sad. That's the main thing. I feel sad. But yeah, that's my rant for the day. I'm going to pop the poll in chat. If I can remember how to. Start a poll. So we can vote for our True Blue. Because I do think there were some good performances today. Despite the shaky second half. So I'll let you guys vote for those. I think it's pretty obvious who goes in here, admittedly, in my opinion. I think I'm going to omit Jackson, because I know a lot of people know. I don't think anyone will vote for Jackson. Actually, I've got an idea here. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna write something egregious. I'm not gonna do that. Let's just put in Lavia. But yeah, you guys vote for that. I'll take a sip of my coffee, and yeah, then I'll outline the plans for the rest of the week. Because as I said, my birthday is on the Saturday, I believe. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I genuinely can't think of what I think there was one good game I can remember, because it was so shocking to me, because I was like, wow, we've actually had a good referee, and I think it was one of either the conference or the cup games. Can't believe I said John Brooks was a good referee, bro. There isn't a single good referee in this league. Like, there's not a single one. They're all genuinely atrocious. They're so bad. It's every single week, whether it's someone on VAR or the second. It's just, like the second. Whether it's the assistant VAR or the VAR or the referee or the lino or the second lino, one of them's gonna make a horrific decision. It's death, taxes, and the Premier League fucking something up. That's literally it every single time. But yeah, live and learn, as you say. Hopefully, our next game should be a bit easier, because we are playing Wolves, and if memory serves me correct, they are not doing very well. Let me actually see where are Wolves doing. What are Wolves doing? They're 17th, yeah. 1 point off of the... Oh, not even 1 point. They're literally level on points with Ipswich in the relegation zone. They're just above because of goal difference. But, yeah. So hopefully we can bounce back against them. If we can't, genuinely think that we have some conversations to be said about this team. I hope that... I mean, I hope that we get some... I hope we get some reinforcements in January, because we clearly need them. Sorry, I'm reading what you're saying, and it's 100% true. But I've kind of outlined some of my grievances now. So, but yeah, we've got as you said, Wolves, City, and the West Ham. I think that Wolves should be a victory for us. If we have any sort of mettle whatsoever, we should be beating Wolves. I think Madueke starting in Wolverhampton would be very funny, because he would get booed the whole game. That would be quite fun. I think City, we are playing City at the perfect time for us to be playing City, whilst they are in really, really poor form. So that's a good opportunity there. And then West Ham, we're playing a West Ham team that admittedly played quite well today, from what I can gather, even though they had very little possession. But a Graham Potter West Ham team, which will be, again, that'll be fun. I guarantee we lose that game. Just absolutely guarantee we lose that game. But yeah, let me end the poll. You guys have voted for James, as I kind of expected, and he fully deserves. Our captain, he's one of our own. He's our goal scorer and our rescuer today. Bailed us out against the 12-man Bournemouth side. And yes, as I said, I'm going to be doing a 3 added minutes for this game, possibly a tactical breakdown, dependent on if I have time. As I said, birthday's coming up, so I'm not sure about that. Then, obviously, I'll be back for a live stream for the 20th on that Wolves game, and then hopefully we can get a win there. And then next time I'm doing this stream, I'm not sitting here wanting to punch a hole through my plaster wall that is behind me, and yeah, if honestly, my head is going straight to Mars if we lose that West Ham game, and I hear Graham Potter say the boys gave everything. Genuinely, my head is going straight to Mars. No, as I said, I discussed earlier. I discussed earlier about Lavia. I think that he had a really, really good first half. Genuinely unplayable in the first half, and that's why I've put him here. I think that literally every single one of our players had a poor second half. So this is basically all I'm kind of judging this on is the first half, because the rest of it is just down to this malarkey that happens, and we lose the game from the back of it. Other than James, of course, because James is just, he's the GOAT, isn't he? But yeah, as I said, thank you guys for voting in the poll. Thank you guys for hanging out as ever. I will, as I said, I'm going to try and relax these next few days before my birthday, so I don't think about this game, but I will be doing a video in midweek on this. Hopefully you guys enjoy that concept, because as I said, it's going to be the first time I do it. Maresca called out the refs in the interview. My manager. But yeah. As I said, try and keep your heads up. I'm going to try and do the same thing. As ever, we keep the blue flag flying high in the rain or in the dry. And yeah, as I said, enjoy your evening, guys. And I'll try and do the same for me. Thank you, thank you for the birthday wishes. As I said, I'll put a post about it when it's my birthday. I'll be like, woo, I'm happy here. But yeah, thank you for hanging out. I'll see you in the next video.